Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89, and just like that, we had some news on Just Like That, a new chapter of Sex and the City, which is the official title. I didn't even have an official title before. Now, I wasn't expecting much, frankly, this soon, because I only started filming in June, and it's not like a sitcom where they shoot like live on a stage and do an episode in a night. It's filmed on location, much like a movie, so I was expecting things to come out a lot slower. I also wasn't expecting it to actually have a premiere date now, which is December, which is only like a month and a half away. So I was quite surprised by all that, but very happy. Basically, they addressed a few things. I didn't think they'd address this much, actually. Now, the first thing is Samantha, of course. Samantha, Sarah Jessica Parker said, Samantha isn't part of this story, but she'll always be part of us, no matter where we are or what we do. So that's all we knew so far on Instagram, but they've gone into detail now. Casey Bloys, who is the HBO Max Chief Content Officer, provided an explanation for Samantha's absence. According to Bloys, Samantha simply grew apart from her friends. Just as in real life, people come into your life, people leave. He said friendships fade and new friendships start. So I think it is very indicative of real life stages, and basically life. So they didn't kill her. She's just off somewhere. She's probably gone to LA to work on some things that came up from connections when she lived there, when she was managing the toy boy. So that's interesting. Part of me wanted some big dramatic they killed her kind of thing, like with Roseanne, which is kind of controversial, but no, she's just gone to do something else. It kind of makes sense because Samantha was, out of all the characters, the one who changed the least. She was the same character at the end of the second movie as she was at the start of the series. She was just all about sex, and I can understand the other characters outgrowing her and them just going their separate ways, which is fine. I'm sure they're friends, but they just don't run in the same circles. The other girls are all married, and she's off doing her thing. So I guess the question now of the series is, who are they in this world now? Have they adapted? What part have they played? Where have they fallen short as women, as friends, and so forth and so on? Now, all this is from an article from Oprah Daily, I should say. So I'm reading parts of the article and then just speculating on the rest. And of course, we're all curious to see where they are and what they do with them, because the show can't just be all about sex, because as much as I want to be sex positive and not be ageist, the reality is as you get older, sex is less important. Once you're settled in married relationships, it's not the same as when you're in dating. So it's just, there's going to be other more important things, which is probably why the series isn't called Sex and the City. It's Just Like That, a new chapter of Sex and the City in very small writing. It's a limited series. They're doing 10 episodes, 10 half-hour episodes. So I guess, like I said, because they're only doing 10 episodes, they probably didn't take that long to film them, I guess, but I still think that's a big season for today's standards, but that's sort of what they did before, so they're probably moving pretty fast because they're all pros, they've done this before. And either way, we've still got the other 94 episodes in the two movies, so the 10 episodes, I've gone over all that. Yep. It's going to premiere in December on HBO Max. Now, the reboot, one thing they're doing with the reboot, which I'm very happy to hear, there's a couple of things they're doing with the reboot that I'm happy to hear, because there are two criticisms of the original series. Really, for me, I felt that it didn't address real-life issues, like in the world, like when 9/11 happened. There was talk that they had written an episode where Carrie was stuck in the subway under New York when all that happened. So they addressed it without actually addressing it, because it was about her being stuck and not knowing what was happening to everyone else. So I thought they should have made that episode. I thought it was kind of important, but they didn't. This episode is going, the reboot, as they're calling it, when it's not really a reboot, it's just a continuation of these characters' lives, is going to address COVID-19 and the pandemic and all of that. So it'll be good to see how they address that, and particularly how they address race, considering that now the show is going to be more diverse. Yes, COVID-19 will obviously be part of the storyline, because that's the city these characters live in, and how that has changed relationships once friends disappear. Some fans speculated that COVID-19 may be the explanation for Samantha's absence. No, but yep. Now we get on to Chris Noth. Now Chris Noth, there were rumours that in 2018 they had written a script of the third film where Big died. He basically had a heart attack in the shower, and the film was more about Carrie dealing with his death than the relationship between the women. But Chris Noth basically denied that ever happened. He said basically it was just a lie, and that we've seen set photos of them working together, and he's obviously in the show. Some people speculated that he was just in the show and then he dies during the show, like that was just setting it up, and other people are suggesting it's a set up for something else, that he's not really, their relationship is not the centre of the show, but I'm not sure. Going to John Corbett, I guess. John Corbett, basically, this is interesting. He was speaking to Page 6 and he confirmed that he was going to do the show. And he said it was very exciting. He liked all the people. He wanted to work with them again. And he said, I think I might be in quite a few episodes. Then Sarah Jessica Parker came out and said, I'm not one saying one way or another whether our beloved Mr. Corbett's interview deals in fact or fiction, but the response is amazing to read. So she's sort of throwing some shade, suggesting he isn't in it, but maybe the interview was done while they were in talks and he didn't end up starring in it, but they posted it once the show was, trending or something. Sometimes that happens. I didn't see a date of when that interview was done with the Daily, the magazine. They've shown that other characters are coming back. Miranda and Charlotte's husbands are both appearing. Their children are going to be in it. They've got, of course, different actors. The kids who are in the original show aren't playing the grown-up characters now. Of course, they addressed the late Willie Garson. He was actually Sarah Jessica's friend in real life, so she was pretty upset about him passing. They'd known each other for like 30 years or something. And he was interviewed before that because he knew he had pancreatic cancer. He knew he was dying. He did the show. I think they probably will write him a very good part because he's not going to be coming back whether they do another revival or another film. And I think they knew that when they were doing it. He said, it's new episodes about people that we know and their lives now, which has nothing to do possibly with their lives 10 years ago, he said. That's the only quote they got from him. Mario Cantone is back, and we don't really know what he's doing. A lot of them are just small little cameos. The grown-up versions of the kids are all in there. Now they've got... Who do they have? This character, Cree. I can't pronounce her name. Damn, I cannot pronounce that girl's name. And they've got, of course, two actors playing Lily and Rose for Scarlett's Children, Kathy Ang and Alexa Swinton. And I just cannot pronounce the other girl who's playing the girlfriend of Miranda and Steve's child, who's being played by Niall Cunningham, who was in Life in Pieces. So they're probably going to focus on the relationships of the kids more than the actual relationships of the adults, probably. Now we get on to Carrie and Big. Now, as I said before, people were speculating that he was going to die, and they basically said no. But there is a suggestion that Carrie and Big's marriage might be in big trouble. As you recall, in the first film, they got married. The second film, they had some problems because Carrie was tempted by bumping into Aiden. And Page 6 acquired a photo of the revival script which indicates Carrie and Big's relationship is changing. In fact, they may be getting a divorce. In the scene, Carrie is sitting with Miranda, Charlotte and Stanford, the new Samantha it seems. She confesses she's struggling. I was taping the podcast, I was washing my hair, yet yes, I wasn't eating or sleeping, but at least I felt good about my marriage. Now I'm just one of the wives he's taken care of. And they noted that Carrie speaks in the past tense, and as if the relationship is already over. And the theory that Big and Carrie's splintering relationship is bolstered by the fact that Bridget Moynihan, who plays Natasha Nijinsky, Big's second wife, was spotted on set. She was photographed in a scene with Parker. Maybe they're discussing their mutual big problem, being two exes. However, a post on North's Instagram page contradicts all of the above. Carrie and Big are in bed together, perhaps, but again, perhaps that was, the calm before the storm. And they go into the fact that, all the more diverse casting, because one of the other problems with the show was it was basically considered to be very white. And they've got Sarah Ramirez from Grey's Anatomy coming in, and they've got two other black actresses and an Indian actress. I went through in another video all their names and details and running out of time. They go through all that. And one of the husbands is played by one of the actors who was in Hamilton, who played George Washington. The show promises a diverse writer's room, because one of the critiques of the show in the past was lack of diversity, and Sarah Jessica Parker said we couldn't really make the show today. She said it was tone deaf, and that they were feeling really good, and they have an incredibly diverse, and really that they've got a writer's room, and the new show basically is writing something incredibly diverse in a really exciting way, was her quote. So it's all looking good. I'm surprised to have that much detail of the show already, and I'm surprised it's coming out so soon. I would have been surprised that if they just get divorced and it's just about her being single again. I'm surprised because, and just like that sounds like death, like sudden, unexpected. Divorce, I guess, can be the same, but it's still a process, and so I'm kind of surprised if that's all it is. But we'll see very soon. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe.